So the next thing that we're going to look at then is the ethical and socio-cultural issues in sport, okay? Covers things like sportsmanship, gamesmanship, deviance, player violence, drugs in sport. So the first thing we're going to look at is sportsmanship behind me here. So, sportsmanship is behaviour that shows fair play and respect for opponents. Basically, examples of sportsmanship. Now remember this, in the exam, if you wrote shaking hands, no marks. Shaking hands in a game of badminton before the game, well done, mark given. It's the small things that they're looking for, okay? Helping a player up, no marks. Helping a player up after a foul in football, marks given, okay? You've got to give the sport an example with this. So, sticking to the rules and regulations in badminton. Shaking opponent's hand before or after an event in badminton or football. Seeing that a person is not injured rather than playing on in a game of football. Okay? If using exercise equipment, wiping it down from sweat after use in the gym. Okay? Thanking opponents for competing against you, not over-celebrating after a goal in hockey. Loads of examples there, and I'm sure a lot of you can think of examples for sportsmanship. Anything that is positive in sport, but include the definition, the sporting example, shall we say, gets you that mark. Gamesmanship. This is the opposite of sportsmanship. This is using unethical, although often not illegal, so it's not against the law, methods to win a game. Alright, so you might not be breaking the rules, but you're kind of bending them, okay? So, examples of gamesmanship. Bending the rules to gain an advantage. For example, diving for a penalty in football. Pushing someone in the middle of a distance run. Okay? Again, give that example at the side of it. Coaches encouraging the bending of rule to gain an advantage. We saw the blood pill incident in the rugby union. Okay? That was a coach trying to get him involved there, trying to have some sort of influence on the game. Using verbal statements to get a reaction from the opponent. In rugby, so that might be, you know, telling them, oh, you're not that good, or trying to wind them up basically to get a reaction and get them sent off. Diego Maradona's hand of God to score a goal. That was breaking the rules really, but he got away with it. Again, done in the World Cup. Michael Schumacher, racing driver, he actually took someone off the road in the race because if both didn't finish the race, he won the championship. So he crashed into him. All right. Next one then, deviance. They might ask you about deviance. It's pretty much gamesmanship. It's like, there's different types, so we'll look into that. Deviance encompasses a lot. So it involves human behaviour that is against your society's norms and values. Behaviour of this kind is often against the law. But gamesmanship wasn't against the law, this is. So, spectator antisocial behaviour caused by the sport might be. So if you watch boxing, sometimes you'll see fights in the crowd because the sport itself is a violent sport, okay? The crowd have got involved in that, it's ended up kicking off. So antisocial behaviour by spectators is deviance. Performance enhancing drugs to win or gain an advantage comes under deviance, we'll go into them in a second. Violence in sport, fighting between players, definitely comes under deviance in sport. Hooliganism, now they don't do much on this, we've not seen many questions on this in the mock, but basically that's all your football hooligans before a game. The ultras and things like that, all fighting, that's normally done outside of the ground, okay? It could be done inside a venue, I suppose, like we saw in France, but a lot of hooliganism is done outside the grounds nowadays. Cheating in sport, and that comes under gamesmanship, moving a ball in golf, things like that. So, drugs then, it's only two more, drugs and one other. So, performance enhancing drugs, the three they want you to know are anabolic steroids, beta blockers and stimulants. On the mock, if you didn't write the word anabolic, you didn't get the mark. So the people who take these type of drugs, anabolic steroids, rugby players, weightlifters, sprinters, anything where people want increased muscle mass, increased aggression, they're the benefits of it. An athlete can train harder for longer. They can increase the muscle mass, increase the aggression. A boxer might want increased aggression. Okay? Increased strength. Rugby player would want that strength. We said before about strength. Negative effects of these drugs are increased aggression could also be a negative. Liver, kidney tumours, higher blood pressure, shrinking of testicles and reduced sperm count, growth of facial hair and deepening of voice in females. Really, really massive drug that was, you know, it's changed over the years, but anabolic steroids was one of the biggest ones that we looked at. Beta blockers. These are for target shooters, archers, snooker players. These control your heart rate, keep it low. They keep the athlete calm. They steady an athlete's aim or concentration. Okay? Negative effects of these are slowing of the heart rate then, lowering of blood pressure, and also the thickening of blood through the body. Stimulants. These are taken maybe by footballers, boxers, ice hockey players. They quicken the mind and responses. They increase alertness. They buzz you up. Okay? They have that impact upon you to speed things up. Negatives of these: insomnia, so you can't sleep, anxiety, aggression, heart rate irregularities, heartbeat changes and things like that. We could look at as well is aspects relating to drug taking in sport. Now, there could be a 6 marker on drugs in sport, so to give you some stuff to talk about, many people feel that taking them, well, other people taking them, why shouldn't I take them? That could be something for you to talk about. Others are influenced through other, coaches or peers taking them, saying to them, you need to take this drug, it'll make you better, it'll do this for you. Could be an influence from coaches there. People become addicted and they can't stop taking drugs. Another reason for people drug taking. There's serious health risks related to it though. UK sport has been directed to actually test and ban athletes. So we know the ethics of drug taking isn't right. It's not right in sport. And when we talk about that, it means like people are getting an unfair advantage. There's a 6-mark question on that. You can talk about that, how it is unfair, how it does increase the risk of injury to other people and yourself. Okay? It's illegal to take them. If you're caught with them, it's illegal to have certain drugs on you without prescriptions. So there's an illegality to it. If it is a 6-mark question, they're the things you need to be talking about in there. All right, we know what the desired effects are and negative effects and why people take them. But if you can add them extra bits as well about the ethics, about that side of it, you will get the extra marks. Okay, moving on. The other thing that we're going to look at is obviously player violence in sport. Reasons for player violence then. People copy others. We see people doing it, we copy it because we think it's right. We think that's what's expected to do. We see our friend get involved, so we get involved. Another reason, we get angry. In a game, in a sport, you see someone get away with poor behaviour and not get punished, it winds you up. You end up lashing out about it. Your adrenaline makes you agitated and you want to show that you're aggressive, okay, in a game. The other two, you got things like we get frustrated. It's a type of instinct that. If the body feels frustrated, some people lash out because of it. Also, it's an instinct thing. So basically, it relates to the instinct fear. Someone, you just think you have to protect yourself. Someone comes in, does a high tackle, you instantly do something to prevent that. It's just an instinct. You get up, you think someone's going to hit you, so they throw a punch. Okay, I've seen that a number of times in sport. Sometimes it could be an instinct thing. But then 4 things are all related to your player violence in sport.